Sanibonani mabukele emakhaya and welcome to Sistas Weekend. It's Wednesday, 5 p.m. Sibuyile. I wasn't expecting that. My name is Lady Anne Mashako and I'm your host, and in studio I'm with my lovely sister. Sanibonani.
Hi babe.
How are you?
We're good.
Good.
Ke le dumedisa ba bui ko gae ya buang ke tlamelo wa Khalifu.
Sanibonani mabukele emakhaya, igama lami Queen Leroto.
Queen Leroto. That's a signature thing.
And yes, man ngasho ngathi kuyashota. No, man yazi content ngayishonga.
Babukele emakhaya njengenjwayelo niyazi ukuthi we always bring you the best. You know, in this show we always discuss important topics that ezizonaka ezababukeli, we're all about inspiring, we're all about empowering. Yes. And I love a conversation yanamhlanje. It's one of those conversations that we don't speak about mostly, right. But today is Zofunda, and in studio we are joined by a beautiful, lovely lady, igama lakhe ZInhle. Kindly introduce yourself to our lovely viewers. ZInhle, how are you?
I'm good.
How are you?
Yes. Thank you so much. Hello to the listeners. Igama lami ZInhle Tsholwana, and I am the advocacy officer at Sisonke National Movement, the only and biggest sex work-led movement in South Africa.
And tell us you are advocacy. When we are advocating on behalf of that. ZInhle, it's a profession that you're doing, right? Yeah, because you're advocating on behalf of sex workers. How did you become part of the movement and why?
Okay. So I became part of the movement, or I became employed in the movement like everybody else. There was a job advert and I applied. Okay. But in terms of principle and what I believe in, I genuinely do believe in protection of sex workers' rights. Okay. Currently, sex work is criminalized. It means that it's a crime.
It's a crime?
It's a crime.
Seriously?
Yes.
So are you saying that all the sisters that we see on the street are... Oh, wow.
And that happens so often, especially with street-based sex workers, because they get targeted by amapolisa. And a lot of the time, they will not charge them for sex work. They will use what is called municipal bylaws. So like loitering, organic public indecency, that's what they'll use to target sex workers. And the into is that they will often steal imali that they do. They will...
I know.
Money that
they were making for the days.
Yes, to avoid getting arrested. So then they'll say that, okay, to avoid going to S cells, dipe imali. So if Mna is ZInhle, I don't have any other choice. What am I going to do?
You're going to give her
there are reports of Metro police going and shooting at sex workers with rubber bullets. Or they pour pepper spray on their genitals.
As being a woman in South Africa, actually being a woman is an extreme sport.
It's a lot.
It's a lot.
It is.
Okay.
So I'm curious, like on the points that you just made, they take money from them. So I still in that case whereby maybe they take advantage of sleeping with them or what?
Yes.
Serious?
Oh no, absolutely. Absolutely. That's into a plum where they will demand services in exchange for letting them go. And because it's not fully consent, that's rape.
It is then.
That is.
And you can't even report because it's
a police officer.
The sad part about it, because I can go in your report rape.
Yeah.
Angabosh.
Yeah.
From 15 years or 25 years. But a sex worker among a hamba, this one will replace to come on.
How?
Yeah.
Yes, like how?
Exactly. Like you are asking, you're selling your body, or you are asking for it. And the thing is, it's like what people need to understand about sex work in particular. You're not selling your body, you're rendering a service.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's a service. Like any other
job that you do.
Exactly. Because if I have a client that will come to me and say that they want a particular service, and it doesn't always have to be penetration.
Yeah, because people want because people want different things. People want different things.
Exactly. People
And
like
once you're touching another thing, ne?
Yes.
or it doesn't even have to be touching. Like there are clients I was figure and they just like I just need to vent.
I want peace.
I
Guys, you don't.
just
I like.
Wow.
I like
You
it.
know,
I
or I just want you to just dance
Yes, and
I just wanna see you dance and then I'll pay you. So it's such a big range of sexual services. So the fact that it involves sex, and another reason is that it involves mostly women. And for a woman in South Africa to claim that this is my body, I will do what I want. In this society, they don't allow you, because how dare you take ownership of your body? How dare you? Right? That's the society that we live in.
Yes.
But what I want to know before we sing again, because sitting deep, what's the difference between, and I hope I'm saying this right, between a prostitute and a sex worker? Is it the same thing?
Yes, I love that.
You know,
because in most cases, Tina says which sex worker is a prostitute.
Yeah, well,
Oh,
it's
shit.
Yeah, well,
It's like that.
But you know,
Yeah.
you can't say like. I remember there's this one, like, I think it was a pastor. As I was talking, it's a fancy, but it's a sex worker route. That is prostitution. So, like, I like the question.
Please, Zinhle,
Answer
take us
sis.
through.
So the term prostitution, really, it comes from the Bible.
Okay.
Right? That's the original way it originated. And so the reason why we want to call it sex work is we want to emphasize the fact that it's
This
work.
person is working.
Exactly, because you know, words like prostitution, you know, umahosha, it's said in a way to strip that person's dignity.
Oh, yes.
That's why they use that word, because you want to strip them of their dignity, to say that they're not a part of your society. They're not part of your community. Gabo Mahosha, they're over there.
Yes.
You
And
know,
what
and
you
they
doing
doing
is
some
wrong.
nasty
You want to,
things.
Exactly. And the truth is that we're part of the community.
And you are.
We are there. We are there in churches.
Yes.
We are mothers who support their children. And so once we start changing mindset so that they understand that sex workers are part of their communities, that is a good starting point, because then we can start a conversation where we can really try to understand exactly what sex work is from sex workers themselves.
Zinhle, it's only the beginning. Let's take carefully. I want to drink water. But we're going to do not go anywhere. This topic is getting hotter and hotter. Thank you. Sisters, we can. Welcome back, Babugile Makaya. You're still tuned in to Sisters We Can. This is your girl, Lady Ann, Miss Ann. Who hang it? That who? I'm trying. It's very interesting.
It
By the
is.
way, we are not here to promote.
Yes.
We are here to educate, to
Yes.
get a better understanding. You
Yes.
understand? Because before you can judge, why
Yes. You must
where they're coming from.
understand. Yes.
You understand what I'm trying to say?
Even there were offensive words.
Esiwasebenzisayo. Ukuthi why umuntu- You know, one of the questions that I have when I was in ngifuna understand ukuthi, since you're the one who's advocating on behalf of abosisi bethu, do they say ukuthi yini izinto ezibaphushela to doing umsebenzi onjalo?
No, absolutely. So unemployment is a big reason why people will enter into the sex industry, because let's be honest, imisebenzi ayikho. Ayikho, and especially if you are a young woman that is not qualified. If now you're no matric, and you have to find a way to look after yourself and to look after your families.
Talk about the pressure. Instagram food is not even doing justice to these young people.
It is not.
You know, it's not even. I mean,
those
if you don't
who
have a
are
weave,
qualified.
you don't have a mazito.
Even those who have degrees, even those who are qualified to go and look for a job, they sometimes opt for being sex workers because there's no jobs.
Yeah, and I mean, some that are employed will use it as a side hustle. You will find people in corporate jobs. Sistas abese officini with the heels, but they knows ukuthi the side hustle by chaisa. They have their side hustle on the side.
Yeah, because she did mention ukuthi kuna
Multiple streams of
streams of
Yes,
know, that's very interesting.
Not that you're promoting it, but
No, I get
but
you.
isn't it, you know what, guys, let's not run away from the truth.
Yes. Vele.
Cost of living, guys, la malanga,
But
hey.
ngiyacabanga nje, my mind is iseyihambile.
Say somewhere. Say
No, guys, ingqondo yami
Yeah.
ikude.
Yes.
So kulena ngiyazibuza ngithi mina, this thing yazi ukuthi okunqene ukuthi umhla husband usidina ngesipuje manje so like as a profession like
Yeah, no, like at that time you're thinking that holiday as a Mauritius.
Yes. You know.
And uyazi ukuthi ngesalary yakho.
You can't afford it.
Uyaqinisela
That-
ukuthi-
I was about to say that. Hore, it's me and you. We are working maybe go Mr. Price.
Yeah.
We know both of us that re kgola 3,000 rand. But nah, I'm living a leveraged life. Mo eleng gore Marwana, you're asking yourself, oh, Mari 3,000 day atlamelo, imetetsang, and neka singetsetseng.
o tlo ka masala ka yona fela o tlo
Wena, wa batla rente wa namela koloi go tla mmerekong. Mare nna ke fologa di
But
posh.
don't you think that term, that when I asked you to explain that term, yeah, and sex work, then we can, I don't know, you can correct me if, yeah, you know, if I'm wrong. Then that other term, yeah, prostitution, because I mean, kinalim sebezi, I can like it's a professional or a sex worker. It's a worker high. So now if you get high,
Oh, yes.
then that term,
What are you calling that?
what is your thought on that?
They are still sex workers, whether it's your main job or your side job, but it is still a job, right? Because if you think, for example, somebody that is a freelancer on the side, you know, a freelance copywriter, that is still a side hustle, but it's still a job. The same way with sex workers, even though it's not my main job, but it is still a job and it should still be considered as work.
Sure. So now your organization, let's talk about your organization. How are you guys helping, you know, our fellow sisters out there who are in this kind of a job?
Okay. So some of the things that we do is advocating for the decriminalization of sex work. But then another important work that we do is that we offer support to sex workers, our members, because we have sex workers that join the movement and they're our members. So we're not a healthcare service provider, but because we have such great working relationships with legal organizations, healthcare organizations, so then we can link them to necessary services. And I mean, at its core, we support them, because if there's one thing that sex workers need, it is support. Because most often they're not going to get it from the outside community. And so that's where we step in to create that solidarity and to offer that support.
And if you find some of them who say, no, to be quite honest with you, if it was for me, I wouldn't be doing this. But because I'm forced, you know, but I need to take care of my family, I need to do this. So when you're out, I'll say part of this.
Yes, bakhona, like any other job, if you want to exit your job and then you leave. And so what we want is that if we have a society where sex workers can choose to enter the industry or exit the industry without the risk of being raped, of being beaten, of being killed. So it's about the freedom of choice. It's not a thing ukuthi ngenile. You know? If you do not feel like this industry is for you, and then you can exit. You can.
But you know, they've made, sorry.
ZInhle imake yonke lento yenzekile ne, so like amaphoyisa ayabashaya, and what is the government saying? What is the government doing? Government, because government govern everybody. Now the sex worker,
Banama-rights wabo.
no, abantu bangaphansi kwakhe and bavotela yena government.
Kubanceda kanjani?
Apha phezulu, it's frustrating because what government does is that they will put these nice documents and policies together. There are two important policies that speak on decriminalization. So the first one is related to healthcare. So that policy is how, as the government, are we going to deal with HIV, TB, and STIs in the country? It is written directly in there that decriminalization of sex work is important. It's there. The second one that was recently launched is for gender-based violence and femicide. And it specifies, the word is there, and people can Google, if you go to Google, just search the gender-based violence and femicide plan, where it says that in order to properly address the issue of gender-based violence and femicide is to decriminalize sex work. So it's there, it's in writing policies that they have developed. But when it comes to implementation of
That's another
Umthetho,
thing. This is good. You know, they always come up with these fancy documents, but having to implement it, they're failing them.
Exactly, we are being failed by the government. And so what we've been doing is that we have been advocating for decriminalization. So there is a bill that we are trying to get into Parliament, and we are working with the Department of Justice to get that bill into Parliament. Law reform, uchinja imithetho, is a long process. We could have another 30 minutes show just explaining the
You know what, let's take an ad break. Mesibuya sizongena kancane into it. Asifuna ukuba ukubapromota kakhulu but babukele emakhaya. We are still on this topic. Please do not go anywhere. We'll be back in a short while. Sisters, weekend. Welcome back, Babukele Makhaya. You're still tuned into Sisters Weekend. Yes, if you can hear the things that happens behind the scene, but anyway, that's for many ZInhle. You know, you keep on mentioning this word, this decriminalization. Yes. Did I say it right?
Yes.
What does it mean? Like, for umuntu level yami, isho ukuthini lo gama lelo?
And am I initial a bit?
I had to say slow.
So that you can say it right.
And I'm going to slow.
So basically, decriminalization is to turn something that is a crime so that it's not a crime.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, D.
In a simple term.
Oh, yeah.
In a simple term.
So it was a crime before. Now we don't want it to be a crime.
Okay. So we want to make it legal.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Okay. Why? Okay. So why must we make it legal? Because I mean,
You know, must come on.
you know, why must we make such work?
Sex work.
Sex work
Yes.
legal. Because if as a country, if as South Africa, we will claim that everybody's human rights are protected, right now that's not the case.
Oh, yeah.
And so if sex work or when sex work is decriminalized, it's because of health and human rights. Because currently, as a sex worker, I am not able to go report a case in my police. I'm not able to go access treatment in my clinic. Because nurses will shame me, they will use these terms.
Yeah.
Or if I go to
And they can say things like that.
Everyone is
exactly, and you can't hold them accountable. You can't do anything about it. And so when sex work is decriminalized, then it empowers us to be able to claim the human rights that we already have. We have these rights, but they have to be protected.
But you know, there's just guys. I don't know if it's me. I mean, there's a show on Showmax. I'm not promoting anyone's show, but it's called My Body Works For Me.
Oh, yes.
So people, but like this thing is now, it's a norm. It's not something that, because remember back in the days, you used to hide when you do these things. But now it's a norm. And I've learned about this thing in OnlyFans. There's even an account where people
you
register. And they make a lot of money out of that. You understand what I mean? So these things, Lamalanga says the norm. And I heard about that, another term about passport girls. Do you know about that?
Guys, it's so fancy. Like,
And it's so fancy, like
Right now, whether you be out there traveling,
and it's like when I tell passport girl because you love traveling the world.
Back home.
That they have.
Oh, you know to say sipala kona bathatha i-trip bese siyabhala kanjani ku Instagram
Passport
passport girl.
See what guys, passport girls are living.
Bond.
Please educate us in the people.
What is this?
This
So yes, so this has always been it's a contentious, or debatable issue.
Okay.
So with us, we advocate for self-identifying sex workers. So for somebody to come and say that I am a sex worker,
And I'm owning it.
and I'm owning
Yeah.
it. Now, on the other hand, if you have, a passport girl, so if you have a woman that will travel to different countries and they have high-level, clients.
Oh, yeah. The passport girls, ungena la, but usuke sayowenza the same work But abroad.
But abroad, if you have a client that wants a service,
No, guys, I'm not saying it. I'm just saying
So a passport girl is somebody who's doing the same work as a sex worker,
Yes.
but deciding
But at a higher level.
but
yeah.
yes, at a higher level, so they have clientele.
Oh,
You know,
okay.
yes, but then if you'll find that they are still being shamed
Yes.
in society. However, that's where E-class comes in, because a passport girl is not going to get discriminated the same way as a sex worker in Nugget. Exactly.
Wow.
So E-class also gets into it. Race also gets into it. We have white and Indian and colored,
Why
sex
this?
workers. Yes.
okay, okay.
Yes, they are. But who are the ones that get discriminated the most? Who are the ones that are beaten? Who are the ones? It's black women.
Then there's laba also silaba, like we go out, right? We have fun with the girls, and then uputus tenglama, makes it rain. Tables rain. The next thing, ahambe na one of us. Then maybe afike ekhaya baya izinto zakhona. The following day avuke ubhuti abhukhe iUber kuphela. Bese athi iUber sekumele ngaphandle bese ngithi hayibo. iUber yani 20,000. You understand? Because
50K.
so yeah, benza mavuso. Then labo ke bona abafoli under ilo like that.
It's not, because the important thing is that the agreements funeke yenzeke before.
Oh, okay.
It has to be before.
Ubugebengu kahle kahle.
Ubugebengu, because it's
Asivumelana.
Ube
there was-
uzigebengu, the lady.
The lady, because
it's
it's
taking,
both
it's
their
taking,
mabus.
it's
Yes.
taking, it's taking,
You know
it's taking advantage.
Ubhuti akazi. Ubhuti akatshelwanga next ukuthi I am a sex worker. And so uzongitshela ekuseni mina bengazi ukuthi mina I'm just
And I remember
ngiyapackager.
ngipatelile wena nabangani
And ngibhadelela abangani bakho
Hey,
ngiyapackager wena. And mase ngikubizele uBhe ekuseni uzongifuna amavuso.
And I'm sure that also put a bad name on ama
It does. It does. It really does, because then abantu, they'll be like, oh, our sex workers, you guys take advantage. You guys are exploiting. Ningamasela, niba imali yethu. And it's not the case. Because if I am able to get into an agreement with you as a client before the service, then we know that there is an agreement there. There are terms and conditions. And if all goes well, everybody meets the expectations, I get the money, I render the service, you are
And we are all
satisfied.
happy.
Wow.
Everybody.
And then how do people become out of
Just good.
Come on,
I
babe.
get the money, I render the service.
Man, sometimes it's not easy because if you know, maybe these girls have their own reasons why they do, which, okay, it's wrong, I know. But sometimes I get it, like these guys will be buying booze and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And the next thing, maybe the girl doesn't want to have sex with the guy after.
Uhambelana naye.
Wambelani naye?
No,
Sibadala
the
jameni.
no.
Sibadala jameni.
Thank you, Sibadala ke. After having sex with me, ngicela amavuso. Sibadala ke. No. Why are you sleeping with me the next thing you know paying?
Khona
Why?
Sibadala,
Sibadala vele. The reason why ngihamba now is because ngifuna amavuso. If I wanted to go, I could have left you in Kirodocha. You know? See, like,
Ngimele wona amavuso.
You know what? Zinhle, where do we find you?
Yes, so we are on all socials, Facebook, Twitter,
Okay.
Sisonke SA. And yes, so you can find out more information there. All of our campaigns, updates, everything is on our social media.
Thank you so much for gracing us with your presence. Sisters, weekend. Sisters, weekend.